Have you ever sat in a team meeting and thought, this could have been an email? Or have you ever left a leadership retreat with more ideas but no real clarity? What if the problem isn't your team, but the way your team is being asked to think? If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. And this is exactly why I do the work I do. Welcome to Build Better Teams, the podcast for leaders who want to improve collaboration, strengthen communication, and create real alignment inside their teams. Here we explore team building strategies, leadership development, and hands on approaches like Lego Serious Play that help teams think, build, and solve problems together. Let's get started so you can lead more effective, aligned, and engaged organizations. Welcome to Build Better Teams. This is a podcast all about helping organizations create stronger collaboration, clearer strategy, and more engaged teams through better leadership, better communication, and more effective team building. This is the first podcast episode in this new series, and I want to thank you for listening. My name is Shannon Russell. I am a strategic leadership and team facilitator certified in Lego Serious Play. If you're not familiar, don't worry. We will dive into exactly what Lego Serious Play is shortly. But first, I want to take you behind the scenes a bit. Because the work I do today, facilitating team workshops and events, didn't come from a straight line career path. I actually started my career as a television producer and executive. I was there for over 16 years producing content for major networks, managing large teams, tight deadlines, high pressure environments, all the things. And what I realized at the time was that I was getting a front row seat to how teams really function. In television, you work with the team for a few months and then the project is over and you move on to a new team. So I was constantly being introduced to new people, new ways of working, new procedures, new politics. You would have to get used to that lay of the land, make it work, get the project done, be successful, then package it up, deliver it to the studio, and then move on to the next. As I rose the ranks in entertainment, I saw what happens when communication breaks down. I saw what happens when leadership is unclear. I also saw what happens when a team is truly aligned, working toward a shared vision. And let me tell you, when a team is truly working well together, it's magic. And I'm sure you witnessed that in your career as well, that there are differences between a good team and a bad team. But I believe that every team has the ability to come together and collaborate in a really creative and unique way. Eventually, I left that world and I started my own business. I built and scaled an award winning franchise, which I then later sold. And again, during that time, I found myself in leadership, in team building, in problem solving. But this time, I was the one responsible. I was the one in charge of creating that culture, that communication, and all of those systems that made our team wonderful. That gave me a completely different perspective because now I wasn't just observing teams and being a part of a team. I was literally building a team and being the one in charge. During that time, I launched another venture, business coaching others on how to create their own businesses. My background allows me to really dive into my work, facilitating team building and strategic planning sessions, because I have that experience in corporate, in nonprofit, in online businesses, in service based businesses, and even in brick and mortar businesses. I was introduced to the Lego Serious Play methodology as a way to help not only individuals grow, but teams of all sizes really come together and expand and innovate. But the more I learned, the more I realized this wasn't about playing with Lego. This is a research backed methodology designed to help teams think differently, communicate more effectively, and ultimately solve complex challenges in a hands on way. It's about getting everyone in the room involved, 100% participation. It's about making thinking visible. And it's about creating clarity in a way that traditional meetings just can't do. Most teams don't struggle because they lack ideas. They struggle because those ideas stay stuck in people's heads because the loudest voices always dominate the conversation. I know you've witnessed that in many meetings over your career and lifetime too. So, what LEGO Serious Play does is it levels the playing field. Everyone is given a prompt, everyone builds, everyone shares, and everyone contributes. What happens next is that suddenly you have alignment. You have that engagement you've been trying so hard to create within your team. And you also find that you have real, tangible outcomes. So you can walk away from that meeting ready to execute with ideas and solutions and steps to actually take action. Today, through my business, Build Better Teams Consulting, I work with organizations, leadership teams, and companies across industries to really design and facilitate workshops that actually move the needle. What my team and I strive to deliver is team building exercises that actually go deeper than the general icebreakers. We lead strategic planning that actually leads to action. And we create leadership development that people actually experience. They don't just sit through. And in a world right now that is becoming more and more automated, more driven by AI, there is something incredibly powerful about bringing people back together in a hands on, human way, an analog way. No screens, no slides, allowing imagination and creativity and actual human to human discussions that bring us back to basics. They allow us to use our minds, to use our heads, to use our mouths to figure out the next step in whatever project we're working on. There's something really invigorating about stripping all of the tech away and getting back to being a human and talking to others and working together on the same level. And this is exactly what this Build Better Teams podcast is about. And in future episodes, we're going to talk about practical team building strategies that actually work. We're going to talk about leadership development tools that you can implement immediately in your organization, how you can run better meetings and more effective offsites. We're going to dive into real world examples of how teams solve problems and innovate in new, fresh ways, and how methods like LEGO Serious Play can transform your team in the way that they work together. If you are responsible for leading a team, planning retreats, or creating better collaboration inside your organization, then you are in the right place. And if this episode resonated with you, make sure you follow the show so you don't miss what's coming up next. I encourage you to go to buildbetterteamsconsulting.com to learn more, or grab the link in the show notes below to book a strategy call with me. Again, my name is Shannon Russell, and I thank you for joining me for this very first episode of the Build Better Teams podcast. Because strong teams don't happen by accident, they are designed. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.